Okay, so we've already created our user and album function definitions. Now we need to go ahead and create a new file to outline our image function definitions, and this will be dealing with images. So let's go ahead and save this file as image.func.php, exactly like we've named all the other function definition files. And let's go ahead and create our first function, or outline our first function. So the first one is going to be upload image, and this is probably going to be the most complicated function. Essentially all we're doing here is we are uploading an image, and we're also inside of this function creating the thumbnail as well. So what we're going to be doing is feeding in an image temp location. So if you're familiar with file uploading in PHP, you'll know that we take a temporary location for a file and we do something with it, i.e. we save it somewhere in our directory. We also need to feed in the image extension because we're going to be allowing PNG, GIF and JPEG files, and also the album ID that we want to actually upload to. So upload image, quite a simple function in definition, is essentially going to upload our image. So we also need a function get image, or get images, sorry. And what this is going to do is it's going to feed in an album ID, and this is going to return a list or an array of all images within a specific album. So we can display that once we've chosen an album we actually want to display images from. We also need a function called image check. Now you might notice that we created a function quite similar to this in album.func.php, and that was album check, and this is essentially going to feed in an image ID and ensure that this belongs to a specific user, because we don't want to return an image that actually doesn't belong to a particular user. We don't want users seeing other images. In actual fact, what this function will do, perhaps I've named it quite generically, will actually return the number of images within an album. Oh, actually no, sorry, I'm wrong again. Image check will do what I originally said. It's going to check that an image belongs to a specific user. Our get images function will actually return the amount of images within a album. So the last function that we need to define is delete image, which is quite self-explanatory. This is essentially going to delete a specific image, so image ID. So we feed in an image ID, that's the unique ID inside of the database, and that will just remove the image firstly from the database, but will also remove it from the corresponding album. So we've defined now all of the functions that we need to inside of our image.func.php file. Now there is one last thing we need to do. Like I initially said, inside our root directory we have this init.php file, and what this will actually do is it will actually collaborate all of our function definitions from user.func, album.func and image.func, and that's just going to put them into one file, which is init.php, and we can then include init.php inside of index.php and any other files that we create. This just means that we don't have to include these separately, and inside init.php we're also going to say connect to our database and start sessions. So the first thing I want to do in here is just include each of these. So we're going to include func/user.func.php. We can just copy and paste this down because they're all quite similar. We're going to include album.func.php and also image.func.php. So when we go over to our index page, just here, just above our template include here, so we've included our header, we can include init.php. So on every single page that we use, we actually get the use of all of these functions here. So it just makes sense to keep them in one file to avoid doing something like this. If I copy that and just paste that there, it starts to get a little messy. So inside of our init.php we're going to do a variety of things, connect to our database, as well as make use of all these functions that we've defined. So let's go ahead over to our browser and refresh the page, and we don't have any errors. So everything's been included properly. We've defined our functions correctly. There's no syntax errors, and we're ready to start actually making use of our functions by including some contents within them.